In a mountaintop monastery in Syria, we spoke with the founders of a center for Muslim-Christian dialogue.
We don't understand the religious world anymore. And so we have no language with these people, both of them, Jewish and Muslims.
If you talk about your experience of God in prayer,
So then there is a real bridge.
there is a real bridge.
Yes.
Because then they really talk from their hearts.
Yes.
And I think that's the only authority that you can count on in dialogue, is what you have experienced.
But we have separated life and spiritual experience and God presence. The faith and religion became just a very little aspect of our life. Even in time, if you like, no prayer. But it's not a question of quantity, it's a question of vision.
For me, it's very important to understand that they have a relation with God. Because when you understand that they have this relation, it means that there is windows, we can say, between us, we can speak about it. And there is something common, we can discuss about it.
It's logical and it makes sense. But to actually see the sites and see the frescoes and to realize how close we are and how far apart we are.
Simple words, smiles, laughter, jokes, like the fact that there's
People
a
want to
lightheartedness.
make people want to make it work. People want you to feel safe and comfortable. And it's funny too, because as an American, in a lot of instances, you end up being automatically not trusting because I'm in New York and it's what you're used to. Trust that you get from the people is there's a component of there's a spiritual place where they are.
As a Muslim, I gained an incredible amount from it. In some senses, just as much that as I was gaining from going to a mosque.
It takes two to dialogue. For every saint who reaches out, there has to be a sultan to grasp his hand. We began with partners dedicated to helping us get beyond stereotypes.
No Muslim, if he knows a little about Islam and if he knows that the very first verse that was revealed to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was read, he would never oppose scientific development, never. That's irrational. You have to satisfy your heart with religious sciences, but you can only satisfy your mind by natural sciences.
Dialogue's more than words, and our Turkish host showed us how to build relationships with traditional hospitality. Our search for lessons of dialogue at the grassroots will be guided by leaders who've dared to cross thresholds in our own time. We talked to a Vatican diplomat and to an imam who serves as a Muslim chaplain at a Catholic university.
Interreligious dialogue may start with the church or the mosque. It may start with studying a verse in the Quran and a verse in the Bible, but it has to end in the field, where Christians and Muslims come together, rolling up their sleeves to take care of a shelter, a homeless shelter, to take care of a project that will give food to the hungry.
You have to be patient in order to go over that and to explain once more and to try to get people to understand properly. And that, of course, requires an effort on your part also to understand their position properly. And a readiness to begin again. I've done that. Well, no, you have to do it again. Every day we start again. Every day we start again.
Brother Robert's icon shows us a way to use the enduring worldviews of the Saint and the Sultan. We imagine that the visionary and the realist, who share a concern for humankind, might serve as perfect narrators for a documentary about dialogue.
What are some ways that you know that can bring peace into the world that you do?
As we move the setting for dialogue into contemporary life, Francis and El Kamo will help viewers probe below the surface.
It's like the Crusades never ended. These young people are still afraid of invaders coming to divide and conquer Egypt.
People in the West are afraid too. They fear those who look or act different and see them as enemies.
Sadly, both Christians and Muslims still act out of ignorance.
And religion, my friend, can still be misused.
Here is great wisdom in one so young. She says peace comes when we deal with the differences between us.
Then differences become something we don't have to fear.
And enemies become friends.
Can we have the courage to go beyond our uniqueness into someone else's territory, to explore it, to feel at home in it, yet feel safe enough to come back to my own home and to my own territory without being called names? Can an imam live and sleep and eat in a Christian monastery and feel at home, yet a day later go back to a mosque and also feel at home? Can a priest do that?
The story of the Saint and the Sultan provides a hopeful answer to that question. Malik al-Kamil gave St. Francis safe passage home, and as a result, we Franciscans have lived for generations among Muslims around the world. Now, to complete our documentary, we have to look for lessons in dialogue at home, because it's here, in the U.S., that we most need to find common ground today.
With salam they were sent on their way with safe passage in the year